Hello, it's Stephanie with Coffee, Paper, Scissors. I thought it would be fun to trick out my own little recipe binder. I've had this for a long time, and this is what I tend to do. I find something or somebody gives me something, and I do this. And so I have a few things written down and put inside, but for the most part, and again, I just write it in there, you know, fold it up, whatever, but for the most part, it's empty. And then I have a few things in these little things back here, but again, it's, you know, somebody gave it to me and I threw it in there. And then I have a few things in the back that I have written down. But again, for the most part, it's empty and they're not categorized. It's just thrown in. So I thought it'd be a good time to organize it. I don't have a lot of blue scrapbook paper, but I do have this. Recollections, I think I bought it maybe 2 years ago. I don't know if they still have this, Michael's. So they're not a lot of blue pages in here, but there are some. And I think I can make it work. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to be mine, and it's not perfect right now, and it's working just fine. So I use this for recipes that I make quite often, and I don't follow recipes very often. When I do, it's generally baking. I don't do a lot of recipe cooking because my husband is a very picky eater and doesn't like ingredients. He likes very simple things like a potato with salt and pepper and butter. Don't add anything to that potato, please. So I have a hard time with recipes, but you know, I like sweets, so I bake. All right, I'm going to get started by pulling some things out and making a plan. Okay, I've gotten some work done, and we will put a few things together, and then I'll pause it and move on. So I have created a front and back to cover up the white. And did I mush that down? I did. Okay, so we're going to attach it with some Fabri-Tac. My husband's out of town right now, so the house is so quiet. Generally, I have to record with my door closed, so it's weird having my door open. It's a bit of a rainy day. Spring is definitely here because we get a lot of rain in the spring, and it's been raining for the last couple days. We had crazy warm temperatures for us about, I don't know, 2 days ago. It was 70 something. I mean, we usually don't see 60 or very much of 60 degrees in March. So it was over 70, you know, the forecast calls for 70, but it was more than that. And I'm going to use one of the cutouts from the paper pack to put a pocket here. And then I backed it with some of the, you know, this color paper so that I could add the gussets on the side. I want this pocket to be a little bit less tight to the page so that I can stick maybe some blank recipe cards in it or something. And I will glue it down with regular glue. Hopefully you guys are in camera okay? Yes. Okay, so I've made some little, instead of these that came with it, I'm making my own dividers, and I will show you how I put them together. I did them all the same. So I used this. I did not do the tab. So I made it the size of the page without the tab. And I've hole punched it by using this and my hole puncher. But then I was like, oh, whoopsie, I wanted to add some stuff to the back, so I'm gonna have to punch it again. That's okay. This one I'm going to glue down as a really just large pocket in case I have something I want to just fold up and slide down in there until I get to it, you know, because we don't always just sit down when we have a recipe. We don't always just sit down and want to write it down on something right away. Sometimes we just throw it in, obviously, because I showed you what I was doing, and that's an accumulation of years. So, and I think I told you that this isn't where I keep all of my recipes. I have an old a vintage oak recipe box that I just love it. And I've got other recipes in there, and those are recipes in that one that I don't use very often, you know, like holidays or something like that. This book is one that I do grab. There's a little overhang here, so I figure I'd trim that off. Okay, so we only glued here and here so that I can put something big down in there if I want to. And then we're going to glue this down as the rest of the pocket. Boy, talk about scraps. I am making some scraps doing this, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not inking. Also, thought about it, but then I decided I didn't want to. Okay. And now we will go back and punch those holes. So I'm just lining up where I had already punched them. Okay, so this is the front and the back, of course. I did it the same. I stitched around it. And then I have this one, and this one, and then it repeats. So this one, and this one. And now I want to put some tabs, and I want them to stick out a little bit. I would have liked to have more color options, but I just didn't feel like what I have in this paper pack, I just didn't feel like I had very good options. I mean, I could do this one, but when I consider that it's going to be sticking out a little bit, because I thought that would be kind of fun. And then I have like that one. And it would be nice if they were, gosh, you guys, I don't know what I'm going to do. So it would be nice if it were all the way down, you know, coming out, and there were 6 of them. There's going to be 6. And so that you could see 6 different ones, but I don't know, because once you get to the 6th one, it's going to be farther back here. I don't know. And they'll overlap if I did that for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's a lot of them to be hanging off the side, and then it's not as obvious that what I've got going on there. So I'm glad I did that. So I am going to just do these 2 patterns, and I think I'm going to line them up with my paper punch, my hole punch. So that first one, when I close it, it'll stick out just a little bit, and that's fine. And so what I've done here is 2 layers. I'm gonna put a little glue. I've done 2 layers of cardstock so that it's gonna be very sturdy. And might have been a better idea to pull it off, and I don't know. See how far that's sticking out? That's pretty good. And then put another one on the back side. So it's 3 layers of cardstock thick, so it shouldn't get bent being, sticking out of my journal. And then just line it up. Hopefully it's a little, it's actually, I wanted it crooked. How did I do that one? I did that one straight. I want this one crooked. Crooked, you know what I mean. Not crooked, but the pattern going this way. It's okay that the pattern's straight on the other side. It's not a big deal. I'll do it the same way on the next time, I think. But I did mean to have it go, diagonal. That's all right. Okay, so my next one is going to be here, and I want it to be this pattern. And I need to make sure it's hanging off the same amount. That looks about right. Okay, it's just, we're gonna do this and see. Hopefully it's fine. Hopefully it's fine. So I'm gonna stand up, and so that is kind of centered. Needs to go inwards just a little. I put enough glue on it that it can still move, so that's a good thing. Okay, that's fine. And then the last one. Oh, whoopsie. I did that wrong. No, I'm gonna have to leave it there. I totally did it wrong. I didn't want to have the same, I wanted to have, all right, I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do. I was trying to avoid it, but it's all right. I'm going to go ahead and reglue this. I'll show you why I did that here in just a second. I think it was right around there. That's fine. I was trying to avoid having the same, whoops, whoopsie daisy. That's all right though. So what I'm going to do then is, I do have another blue page in here. It's this one. I just didn't know for sure, but oh wait, I've got this in 2. No, I don't want to use that one. So, oh goodness, you guys, I don't know. It's so dark now. Let me just cut one out and see what I think. Punch one out. That's the wrong one. little glue on it. No, I didn't. It was just... It's fine. It's not the end of the world, is it? It really isn't. Okay, but I do have to... The best laid plans, you guys. It's going to be fine. So this one, to back it, I was going to do a plain one. This, I just want to make sure I've got the right thing here. But now I'm thinking maybe I will do this on all of them. No, because I don't want it. Okay, I'm doing this one. I'm just doing it. If I were using lots of colors, then it wouldn't matter. But since I'm trying to do more bluish to go, or blue to go with the cover of my little cookbook, so, you know, because of that, I'm trying to follow that. Okay, so you guys get it. I'm going to do the same thing, and then I have 3 more to do. It's all finished, you guys. I didn't really show you much else because it was taking and rewriting some recipes on my own. So I didn't do anything to the cover because I like the cover. So just show you, you've already seen this part. I went ahead and put all the things in. The last thing we did was doing this. In this cookbook came with a list of stickers, or a sheet of stickers, and so I just chose 6. I added a few extra recipe cards in the pockets so that if I find something I don't have to go looking for a recipe card, I can sit there, write it down, and stick it in. So I'll just show you real quick what I did, and I wanted it to be like really colorful, and I know there's going to be glare. Maybe if I prop it. Can I prop it? Probably not. Needs to be propped more. That's a lot of propping. I don't know. The glare, I know, is frustrating. So then I just put one in each of these pockets. And then I put tabs so that I wasn't having to dig under the plastic every time to be able to pull it out and see the instructions that may or may not be on the back. And I don't have a lot. A lot of my my recipes are on Pinterest. So these are the things that I just needed to have written down. Or sometimes somebody will give me a recipe, and then, you know, it's a good place to put it. Each section has one of these little pockets that came in the journal. And then I took these pages that came, not journal, recipe book. I took these pages and just kind of divided them into each section so they all have the same number. So here's the fuller section, and it's the dessert section. This is something that I baked once, and I did a lot of fussing with it. I've never baked it again. I don't know that I will. And so I didn't know that I wanted to write a recipe card for it because it's quite a lot of instruction, and I just didn't know if it's something I would do. There's an extra, and then there are some recipes that I do use, and then some empties. These are a couple of the gluten-free pie crust things, and you know how they always come with a little recipe on them? I thought, you know, those are cute. I had them in here, so I just hole punched them. I cut the side and I put them in that way. This is a lot of instructions, and I really didn't feel like writing it. Look at all those instructions. So I left it in this. You guys, butternut squash pie, about.com Southern food. I don't know if that's easy to find. It is so good, way better than pumpkin pie, but similar in taste. It is so yummy. Anyway, so there are a couple of these in each. They just kind of poke over. They're like the page protector. So I have a couple of those. And this one came from a different book that I used to have, and they're different sizes, but I just went ahead and added it that way. They were already written out. So see, most of them are sweets. Then I have breads, quick breads. I don't bake bread, but I do quick breads, like banana bread, that sort of thing. Then I have soups. Oh, and then this was a recipe that I cut off of packaging, and then I thought, well, that's kind of fun. I just added it to scrapbook paper. And then I have the soups, and I only have, there's no shiny there. I only have a couple of recipes in the soups. I love soup, but I tend to just kind of make it from whatever I have. I don't tend to use recipes real often. Main dishes, a little extra thing there. And again, since my husband's not an ingredient person, I don't do a lot of that. Side dishes, extra thing there, and then I just added a couple. And then the back has that, and it's full. So honestly, I mean, it's a small, it's like about 1.5 inches, maybe not even 2 inches, maybe 1 3/4 inch book. But if you had a bigger one, you know, it could be fun to have just so much stuff in there. But I finally got all the loose bits put away, and I'm happy with that. I hope that it's inspired you guys to go and pull out your recipe book that you have stuff sticking out of in every direction and maybe do something like this. Thanks for watching. Bye.